will be introducing our speaker tonight. Randy Aguirre graduated from Runge High School in 1982. After graduation, he took a job with Delta Engineering in Houston, where he lived from 1982 to 1984. In 1984, he moved to Beeville and started working on his associate's degree in criminal justice, which he completed in 1986. He attended Southwest Texas State University, now Texas State University, from 1986 to 1987. He again took a job with Delta Engineering in Houston, where he remained until 1994. In 1994, Ranger Aguirre went to work for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice and worked his way up to captain before leaving the department in 2002. After graduation from the Texas Department of Public Safety Training Academy in 2002, he was assigned to B County as a state trooper, where he was promoted to corporal in 2006. By 2008, he had changed positions with the DPS, accepting an assignment with the department's Criminal Investigations Division and Narcotics in McAllen. Eventually, he was assigned to the same position in Corpus Christi, bringing him closer to home. In 2011, the DPS promoted him to the prestigious Texas Ranger Division. Ranger Aguirre then spent a few months working in Del Rio and Laredo along the Texas-Mexican border. For part of that time, he was assigned to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Public Corruption Task Force. In 2012, he was assigned to the Texas Ranger Post in Sinton. At the end of April 2018, he received the opportunity to get back to Beeville after the retirement of another ranger. Currently, Ranger Aguirre works with 23 other rangers in 27 counties that Company D encompasses. The Texas Rangers offer many resources that local law enforcement agencies might not have. Rangers are often called in to investigate incidents like officer-involved shootings where an impartial third party is needed. They also are called upon to provide security for the governor of Texas when he or she is visiting within their jurisdictions. Rangers often put their expertise to use in trying to solve cold cases throughout the state. All Texas Rangers have been troopers and have investigative experience either in DPS, narcotics, or criminal investigation divisions. The goal of the Ranger Division is to provide law enforcement agencies throughout the state with the most up-to-date investigative resources. Please give a warm welcome to Ranger Randy Aguirre.
Thank you, Mrs. Esparza, for that warm welcome. I just wanted to say this time, it's not my regular duty work time. I just thought that I'd share some school spirit and wear it tonight. Good afternoon, family, friends, faculty, and most important, the class of 2018. Congratulations on your accomplishment. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Looking back at my graduation night, I have to admit, I don't remember who the speaker was that night. And I vaguely remember the message. So acknowledging that, if I can't make this speech memorable, I will try to make it short. It's been several decades since I graduated from Runge High School, the home of the Purple and Gold Yellow Jackets, the class of 1982. I can tell you that it seems so long ago that I went to school here. Since I just shared that I graduated in '82, that would be 36 years ago. So many years, yet all went by so fast. Like you, I grew up in this small town, lived here until I graduated. I recently came back and took a tour of the school and met several students and faculty. Some of the school looks very different from what I remember, although many of the walls felt the same. These new renovations and additions that have been made to your school are amazing. Your sport facilities are nothing like what I played on. I definitely remember fields of natural grass, tough dirt, and a track that looked like a cow track. You have much to be proud of in your school. Over the years, I have made many trips to Runge to visit my home and visit my parents' old house. I drive around Runge and everything seems so much smaller now. Perhaps it's because I have a different perspective of this town as an adult. The increased vehicle traffic is hard to miss, but I know it's a good thing for our town. I have driven my kids around Runge and have shared stories about my days living here and about my glory days at the high school. Or at least they were glory days to me. Back then we used to meet up after football games at the old gas station downtown. We drove up and down Main Street talking to friends and sharing laughs. On some occasions we even celebrated our wins on the back county roads with a bonfire. I'm sure law enforcement would have frowned upon that. So to you and the upcoming seniors, don't do it. We celebrated homecoming and prom, pep rallies, just like every other school around here. But it was different for us. We had 27 students in my class. We were a tight-knit group, and still are today. I trust that is the same for all of you. My children know these stories. They have heard them many times over. They remind me by rolling their eyes when I bring them up. Sometimes you have to be careful what you share with your experiences. For example, several years ago when I was interviewing to be promoted to the DPS Texas Ranger Division, they conducted a home interview to meet my family. My daughter at the time was around 9 years old and wanted to make sure that the Ranger Lieutenant conducting the home interview knew that I used to start fires when I was in high school. Not the best time to share that story, and especially to get the details wrong. Those memories we make with friends will remain with you forever. I don't think there are many days that go by that I don't think about my friends I grew up with in this town. I hope that you too will remain close to this school. Wherever you decide to stay in Runge or move away, make plans to always come back and visit. You will always be welcome, as I recently was. I can promise you that you will look back and be reminded how lucky you were to live and attend school here in this small town. There is a special bond you will always have with your friends in your graduating class, this class of 2018. After graduation, I had little time to think about what I wanted to do with my life. Both of my parents were hardworking, humble people that weren't going to put up with me sitting around and not doing anything during the summer. Sound familiar? I had an easy option. My brother was working in Houston for an offshore construction company and offered me a job for the summer. One summer I thought, and then maybe I would try college. I left that summer to work in Houston. As you can imagine, one summer led to another, and in that summer led to another year. Working 6 and 7 days a week in the heat and the cold is an honorable job, but it wasn't for me. So with the money that I had saved, I decided I would give college a shot. I moved back to Runge, enrolling in B County College in Beeville, Coastal Bend College as it is known today. That began my path to a criminal justice degree. Several of us commuted to school every day until a couple of us made a move to Beeville. I received an associate's degree and decided to continue my education in San Marcos. I attended college there for a few semesters, but needed to return back to work to fully support myself. Returning to Houston was easy. I picked back up at the offshore construction company that I used to work with. Again, the pay was good, but it was not my passion. I returned to Runge after 5 years when my father passed away. I needed to do something different and wanted to be nearby for my mother. Once settled in Runge, I picked up back an interest in law enforcement and joined the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the TDCJ division it is called, taking a job at the prison in Cuero. This job led to a position at another TDCJ facility, the Garza East Unit in Beeville. I'm promoted to sergeant, then to lieutenant, and finally to captain at the McConnell unit, also in Beeville. I have been known to tease that I spent 8 years in prison, but then I'm sure that quickly I clarify that I was an officer there. In 2002, while working at the prison and dealing with the offender population on a daily basis, I decided to apply with the Texas Department of Public Safety. I had previously applied with DPS back in 1986, but they were having a hiring freeze that lasted for several years. As they say, be careful what you wish for. In December of 2002, I received a letter from DPS informing me that I had been accepted, along with several other men and women, to a 2002 training academy in Austin. paramilitary fashion, meaning that it is much like attending a military boot camp. It was 6 months of long runs in the early morning hours, unending calisthenics, boxing matches in the middle of the night, and hundreds of classroom hours. The only fun part that I can remember from the academy is the firearms training and driving fast in old police cars. The academy was 6 months of constantly being tested by trained instructors who seek to find the weak of mind and body and eliminate them from becoming a state trooper. But they also seek to find those students who can lead in an environment of constant stress and chaos. The 6-month academy was a lifetime of challenges crammed into 6 months. Looking back now, I appreciate how hard the instructors were on us, how they prepared us to deal with situations that a trooper deals with on a daily basis, patrolling the state highways alone late at night. Some of them will never return home to their families. This is the ultimate sacrifice a trooper can make. After graduating from the academy, I was able to be stationed in Beeville from 2002 to 2008. While a trooper in Beeville, I had the great opportunity to get to know Texas Ranger Andy Lopez. Ranger Lopez was stationed in Beeville. I remember Ranger Lopez because while attending the DPS Academy, instructors used to show us training videos from the troopers' dash cams on what to do and what not to do in stressful situations. One of the videos was of Ranger Lopez when he was a trooper in Referral in 1991. While conducting a traffic stop, Trooper Lopez had been involved in a serious incident involving drug traffickers. The video has been used by hundreds of law enforcement agencies throughout the United States for training purposes. At the time, I really did not know much about the Texas Rangers or what job duties they consisted of. However, I did know that they had been established in 1823 by Stephen F. Austin to protect early settlers against Indians and bandits. The history of the Rangers goes back almost 200 years. Ranger Lopez shared his stories and job duties with me. He told me that the Rangers are in the investigative division for DPS, investigating officer-involved shootings and assisting local law enforcement with high-profile investigations, hunting down fugitives, and providing protection to government officials such as the Texas governor and the President of the United States, traveling out of state to bring back wanted criminals that are wanted in Texas. I thought, how cool is that? Ranger Lopez told me if I was interested in being a ranger, I would have to get experience in criminal investigations. And the best way was to test for DPS Criminal Investigations Division. So I tested and was promoted, and off to McAllen, where I was assigned to the Narcotics Division. Boy, did I get some experience in the valley. Like working at this prison, working narcotics in McAllen proved to be eye-opening and a huge learning experience. After a year there, I transferred to Corpus to be closer to home. And in 2011, I prepared for my goal to be a Texas Ranger. I tested and received the good news that I had made it. My first assignment was in Del Rio, assigned to the FBI Public Corruption Task Force. To be assigned to the FBI investigation, an intensive background check is conducted. Luckily for me, I was exempt from the home interview. I was there for 6 months in Laredo for an additional 6 months before receiving a transfer to Center. Just last month, I made full circle and returned to my post in Beeville. Ranger Lopez was right about the job duties of a Texas Ranger. I have done all that and much more. So here I am today, back where it all began. I am just one example of many graduates who have come before you, who have had successful careers and are proud to have attended Runge High School. As you begin the next stage in your life's journey, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, do it well. There are many opportunities out there for each of you. Some of you already have plans to leave this summer for college. Others to stay close to home. And likely some of you haven't decided yet. But what I can tell you from my experience is to find your passion. Don't settle and don't limit yourself. It may even take a while to figure it all out, but that's okay. Keep hammering at it until you find that passion. For me, it was law enforcement. It's been a great career for me, and perhaps one for you as well. But make a promise to come back to this town. This school is counting on you. I can promise that growing up in Runge will be one of the best things that's ever happened to you. Promise to stay in touch with your fellow classmates. These friends will be there after this journey tonight. I have found that being from a small town was my secret weapon in life. It doesn't matter where you go, you'll always be from here. Good luck and God bless the class of 2018.